Welcome to the Positive Life interview with Dave Stringer and Dervla Kelly. We're going to be talking about their upcoming yoga retreat in Sligo that has some amazing musicians, Liam and Ronan O'Shnuddig. So, guys, if you could tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Well, we met Ronan years ago when I was playing a kirtan gig at a yoga studio in Dublin. And kirtan, for people who aren't familiar with it, is a form of chanting that happens in the yoga world. It's in Sanskrit, and it's meant to shift conscious awareness. So it goes through kind of ecstatic choruses, and usually there's drummers, and they start slowly and play really fast, you know. And I didn't really know a drummer who could do that in Dublin. And Michael Ryan, whose yoga studio we were playing at, knew Ronan. I think maybe we went to a gig.
He took us to a gig at Whelan's on Wexford Street, and Ronan was playing, and we met him over a pint, basically.
Right. As it turns out, Ronan had been to India and was aware of yoga and yoga philosophy, and we had a nice connection, and so he agreed to play this gig. And instead of playing tabla, he played bawaran, of course, and I played harmonium, and it all went off really, really great. And that led to us doing a yoga retreat in 2014.
Yeah, 2014 in Kerry.
Right. And we played together. And one of the things that came out of that retreat was this idea that instead of singing Sanskrit mantras, that maybe we could do kirtan so people would sing back to us, but Asquelga. So, and the idea was to take some things from the poetic tradition of which is so rich in Ireland, and in the beauty of the Irish language, and to create a responsory kind of vocal music that that was in the Irish language and honored Irish history and poetic tradition and culture.
And the other thing about Ronan is he's a brilliant source of Irish folklore and history and connection to the language. You know, he's a kind of Ogukish, so the Gaeilge just comes out of him. And we found with the retreat participants, he was a natural leader and connector. Like, you really felt you could drop in with him.
Oh, the guy's a force of nature.
Yeah, he's a force of nature, and he's just like, you want him on your team.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Great crack. And we've stayed in touch with him over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And developed a friendship.
Actually, we were going to do a little tour together, I think in 2020. We were all set to do some yoga workshops at, where were we going to do it?
The Yoga Hub in Dublin.
And Ronan and I were going to do a little concert tour, and we were going to play in Cork and Dublin and Belfast and
then do our retreat in Sligo in September.
Then the pandemic hit, and I remember that we had this conversation with her, okay, we'll be back in 6 weeks. And then everything got canceled.
I know. We all had the best hopes. Like, this will blow over in 2 weeks. We'll be back to normal.
Yeah. So
little did we know.
So it took us 2 years just to get back and to really go to look at Temple House in Sligo,
yeah.
Brilliant venue with a, you know.
What drew you to that area? I mean, I know it's like steeped in history. You've got, you know, it's Gates land. You know, this is going to be so immersive. Like, tell us what drew you to that.
Well, I actually found Temple House by accident. We did the retreat in Kerry at another kind of house with very unique bedrooms. And we wanted to do something similar, but somewhere else. So I was just searching, I think the Irish Heritage Foundation houses and everything. And Temple House came up, and, you know, it's like a mini Downton Abbey.
It looks amazing.
Yeah. And emailed Roderick, who's the owner, whose family have lived there since the 1600s. Had a great connection with him, and that's how it all started. But my dad is from near there in County Roscommon, very close, like 15 miles. So for me, there is kind of a pull towards the land down there. I've more connection with there really than I do with Kerry. But of course, the whole of the west of Ireland is so beautiful. But there is that pull towards the land, and and there's all the Neolithic sites down there. The Wild Atlantic Way, absolutely gorgeous. So.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful area. I remember when lockdown first happened, a couple of friends and myself went and we did all the hiking tours, Ben Bulbin, all the cliff walks. It wasn't like the best weather, but like something about just being there in that land is just so incredible, you know?
yeah, the pull of
Still
the
so
land is
connected.
very,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And this house is going to be an amazing venue because one of the things that we like to do is, I guess, what I would call poetry slams. So people get
Mm,
up and read poetry over music that we're improvising. So that's
yeah.
part of what we want to do is people will actually read Yeats poetry or Heaney or, and the idea
All
is
the
to get
greats.
in your
all the
mouth and
greats,
in your
yeah,
experience. And we've got people on the retreat or who are experts in that poetry and who can guide us through some of that too. So for a lot of people, it'll make a deeper journey into Irish culture. And I mean,
Yeah.
for me, because I'm married to Ireland, like I also am making this journey myself.
he's able to speak a bit of the Gan now. Cad is sound good?
Even sound I'm done.
Ionach ar fad. Yeah,
um, but so we're hoping to bring, also Americans who have, so many Americans say, "Oh, I'm Irish," right?
Yeah.
It's hilarious, but it's true.
It's
There's
like I'm
actually,
third generation or fourth generation.
but there's a real longing for a lot of Americans to actually reconnect to something really authentic,
yeah,
Yeah.
and but I think it's an opportunity for some Irish people to also show up and connect to something.
yeah, absolutely. We're really hoping that some Irish people come with us
Yeah.
because, I mean, I don't think I would have loved to have done something like this myself. Like I put this week together because it's something I want to do as well, and to
Yeah.
share our heritage and our culture and the connection to the language and, as you said, the land.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and of course, Liam O'Wainley.
Who we're both really, really excited to have.
Well,
This place has a brilliant piano, which we're going to have tuned perfectly for him.
Yeah,
Um, uh, what an amazing singer, and it's funny. I think he's huge in the UK and in Ireland and in Europe. He's not as well known in America, and I think he should be better known.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, certainly. And so what does this actually mean? Like, what can people expect from going to this retreat? Like how close and, personal are they going to be able to get with such acclaimed musicians?
Super close, as in like have a pint close.
Have a pint,
Wild.
eat meals together,
Right.
you know, hang out,
Yeah, I mean,
practice yoga with live music,
right.
and
Yeah, it sounds
We'll
beautiful.
give you Bowron lessons.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also really excited because we actually haven't met Liam yet. We've only met him over email.
But we know
Okay.
Ronan. He and Ronan are buddies, and um, from that, like that's the actual part of the connection. But also, it's Dervla's persistence, and but from what I understand, Liam also has spent time in Rajasthan in India, so he has some also connection to this. So we're making some connections in a lot of ways between the traditions of yoga philosophy and some deep Irish philosophy as well. Those are things that we're interested in exploring, and the musicians that we have with us are, also on that tip. So
Yeah.
Sounds ideal.
yeah.
And so what can you tell us about like anybody coming to this brand new, they don't know anything about Irish culture? Is it something that they should have a bit of a background in, or is this going to be completely open to all levels, all ages? What do you
Yeah,
think?
nobody needs to, everybody is welcome to show up exactly who and how they are. And our job as the facilitators is to create a container for them to show up in. And
Yeah.
just by, as you know yourself, being on the land is itself, the land is a blessing in Ireland, in the west of Ireland particularly, and the Neolithic sites and all that. So the land gives its own transmission, but I think also Irish people are so warm, and we have a reputation for that, our warmth and friendliness, but people
Yeah.
always remark on it. And even when I
Yeah.
go home, I'm always like, God, I forgot how friendly Irish people are. But also, we're having tour guides. We have a Shawnee coming to the house to talk to
Yeah.
local legends. And the next day, he's bringing us to Queen Maeve's Cairn and to Carrow Keel. And we have a local,
It's incredible.
yeah, we've a local Yeats scholar bringing us on a tour of Yeats country. And Dave and I actually met with him when we were in Ireland last autumn. Lovely, lovely guy. So we're bringing in people as well, weaving a whole tapestry with the community, and also particularly Ronan and Liam, as you know, are both such luminaries in Irish music, but also like the folklore and the connection to the language and to our whole tradition. So, you know, and
That's
then
what creates the immersive experience, the layers.
yeah, and just being on the land. And then
Yeah.
Roderick, who owns Temple House, is very interesting because his family, of course, hundreds of years ago came from England, but he very
Okay.
much considers himself Irish. I actually asked him about that, and he said, "No, I'm Irish. I'm Anglo-Irish." So it's very interesting. People get to also see that side of our history and the complexity of our history, that it's
It
not,
is, yeah.
yeah, that it's not one thing. I think even for us, I don't know about you, but for me, it's complex also to
Definitely.
grasp, if you will. So, yeah, I don't know if that helps answer your question.
Yeah. No, it sounds amazing. I love it.
One thing I want to say too, for people who are new to yoga, that is a component of the retreat, and Dervla is an extremely skillful and knowledgeable yoga teacher. And for people who haven't practiced before, she's going to be helpful at making that, easy and centered for people. I mean, it starts with breathing. So part of it is to, deeply relax that way. And singing is also a breathing exercise too.
Yeah.
So we kind of put these things together in ways that will set your body up to relax and be comfortable in the space. Dervla can speak about her yoga a little bit.
Yeah, and it's all the yoga. My superpower is being able to teach to different levels. So, I would welcome and encourage anybody of any level to come. But it's all the yoga. Yoga is about making meaningful connections. And this is what this week is about. It's not just about what happens on the yoga mat. It's all a journey that we'll take together, and that Dave and I will create and hold a container for. So,
Jesus, we need it after the last couple of years. Like, having something like this is so important, and it's just brilliant that you're doing it.
thank you.
How many people do you think you'll be able to cater for at this time?
Well, it's quite intimate, this venue.
Yeah,
About
yeah.
20 people, I think,
Oh,
will
wow.
stay there with us. So it's also going to be really up close and personal in this way.
So personal, yeah.
However, have some drop-in classes. I think we were talking about a Sunday morning drop-in class for people who are local to Sligo, be able to come in and study with Dervla. We also, on the Tuesday night, will that be the
14th, the 14th, Bloomsday.
Oh,
Bloomsday,
yeah.
we'll have an open concert with Liam and Ronan in the Temple House, and so people will be able to come. It's quite a huge place, so we could have 100 people.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
a magnificent venue, and we do have we are offering Positive Lifers a discount on for every person who signs up for the retreat, a discount of €108. 108.
Oh my goodness, that is so generous.
Being the magical number. Well, we really would love to have some Irish people. We have had some inquiries, but we'd love to have Irish people with us, because that's also for us an important thing. And everybody on a retreat is part of the fabric of it. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And so is there an opportunity for people to get involved themselves? I mean, I know you guys are such acclaimed musicians, but could somebody come up and be like, I'm actually a dab hand on the bodhrán, can I get involved?
Yes. Oh yeah. One of the things that I love doing is incorporating people at whatever skill level into the music that we're making.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
so especially when we do poetry jams and things like this, I'm inviting people to bring instruments. We'll have some there, and I love giving people sometimes simple things to do that they can support it. And the whole idea is for everybody to join the band as much as possible, and so we try and support that with enthusiasm and non-judgment.
Yeah.
And so yes, there's plenty of opportunity for people to get involved.
Bring your fiddles, bring your recorders, bring your
Please.
bodhráns, bring your tin whistles,
Yeah,
all of it.
please.
Yeah. And I also wanted to emphasize that the morning yoga classes Dave will be playing for, and Liam and Ronan also. They won't be playing every morning, Dave will. And it's a really beautiful thing to practice yoga to live music, particularly with somebody of Dave's caliber who has...
Stop. I know. I can't even imagine how incredible that's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Sure, maybe you'll join us yourself, Kate.
Oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Honestly, like it's, as I said, it's something that we're all dreaming of. Like a week in June in Ireland, you could be anywhere in the world, but to be on that land, on that area, like Ireland is the most beautiful country in the world, but it helps when the weather is good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the last time we did a retreat, it was June, and it
Yeah.
was amazing.
Unbelievable weather.
Unbelievable.
Heat wave, unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and I also
beautiful.
wanted to add to that part of the way I've set the retreat up is that we'll leave and return to Dublin on a coach that I'm hiring. But for
Okay.
anybody coming from Ireland, like who would drive their own car, I'll work out a deal with them to take some off the cost to kind of offset the cost of the coach down.
Okay, so the package is including trip from Dublin, but maybe you're coming from the north or the west. Okay,
exactly.
okay,
So
that's good to know.
there's a way around that, but
It can be sort of adapted to different people.
yeah, I mean obviously within reason.
Of
But,
course, yeah.
if people weren't going to avail of the coach, we could I definitely hook them up to give them discount that, you know.
Yeah.
So
And so, so what else? Is there any other little tidbits that we need to know about this amazing retreat coming up?
and gosh,
I think we've covered a lot of territory here.
yeah,
The thing is that it's always open to improvisation. This is one of the things that I really love, is that you get a group of people together and their interests become very, very clear. So aside from a lot of set pieces, you know, like that we have with, you know, Yates Scour and Shanachie, et cetera,
yeah.
et cetera. The thing is that especially the evening sessions, when music is involved and poetry is involved, all kinds of things can happen.
anything can happen. Yeah. And we also want to add, this is not a vegetarian alcohol-free yoga retreat.
Okay.
Not that we're applying alcohol on people, but at Temple House, they do serve wine. They do serve a flexitarian menu, all farm to table from their own farms. seafood,
Yeah, tell us a little
everything.
bit about the farm to table.
Well, they have a fantastic food program at Temple House. It's very well known for their food. So while we can accommodate people who have special dietary requests, it's not going to be a vegetarian yoga retreat.
First of all, the seafood's so local.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
Oh my God, Sligo seafood is the best.
Right.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And the message is really like, enjoy your life deeply. So yes, you can have a glass of wine.
You can have a glass of wine. You can have, a vodka and tonic before dinner if you like. They have a bar there. So we're tantrikas. We believe that we're householders and that we want to taste the fruit of life and enjoy it. And that's our invitation.
Yeah,
That's
and
such a beautiful message.
so much Irish poetry too. You know, enjoy it while you can. Dervla was reading a Heaney poem called "Blackberry Picking."
Yeah, I heard your videos. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's something. It's so sweet because I remember last September the blackberries were ripe. And
We were in Sligo.
We were in Sligo, and we're just like walking these trails and just like filling our face. You know, our fingers are purple and everything, and you realize this moment doesn't last. Like you have to
That's
taste
so
it
true.
right now in this moment, and the juice starts to go bad like just as soon as you've tasted.
There's a sweet spot.
The sweet spot, yes.
Yeah.
So we're hoping the whole week will be a sweet spot.
Yeah.
And we do have, you were asking if there was anything we kind of didn't get to. The afternoon that we do the tour of Yates Country, we're going to then go to an Irish pub for trad music and a meal in a pub. So that's kind of a nice thing also for people to experience.
Sounds incredible.
Yeah.
My God, it sounds absolutely amazing. So would you say that 20 places are available?
Well,
Got to get in now.
Many places are not available right now. I mean, we've sold about half of them. So yeah.
Have you?
About 10 or 12 spots left, I think.
Yeah, we have probably 10
Okay.
10 or 12 spots
So
left.
don't dilly dally. Get on it.
Right.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll let our followers know that if they want to get on it, they need to get on it now.
Yeah, and don't
sure.
forget the discount 108 for Positive Life.
That's so nice, honestly. Okay, great. Well, is there anything else you guys want to share with us before we depart?
Brilliant talking to you, and we look forward
So
to meeting
nice talking to you too.